Dynamic pricing isn't the problem. We understand that airline and hotel prices vary based on what they project demand to be. The lower the available inventory, the higher the price. The problem is knowing that somebody that you don't know knows what device you're using. They know where you are in the world. They know what you've considered buying. And then they sell that information and more to companies. And that's so those companies can decide what your personal price is. The goal of this video is to give you tools to combat personalized pricing because what's the point of doing nothing and feeling helpless? I don't think any of us wants to be exploited, especially with information we didn't share so that companies could charge us more. Remember when the price used to be the price? But now companies can read the tiniest things you do, like what you've bought before, your search history, how long your mouse hovers over an item, what's in your cart. They spy on you so that they can take that information and put it into systems built to guess the highest price that you will accept. So if they're watching, how do we become invisible? I talked about this last year in this video, the secret way we're being charged more for everything. I talk about how retailers and apps build a profile on you and how it shapes the prices you get. Instacart found that its surveillance pricing algorithm could lead to $1,200 more spent on groceries each year for some consumers. This idea isn't confined to stores. Throughout 2025, Delta built an AI pricing system with a company called Fetcher. The goal was to expand its use of generative AI to cover 20% of its domestic ticket pricing by the end of 2025, and eventually to cover all of its pricing. In this Forbes article, the CEO of Fetcher says things really bluntly when he was asked how his company selects better price points. That's the secret sauce. We've been training our engine using all the data we can get our hands on. We are very stealth about how we work. Delta says they aren't pricing you as an individual, that this is the same dynamic pricing that we're used to, just faster. But at the 2024 Fast Company Innovation Festival, former FTC Chair Lena Khan warned us, given just how much intimate and personal information that digital companies are collecting on us, there's increasingly the possibility of each of us being charged a different price based on what firms know about us. She offered examples like charging more for products without nuts for people with nut allergies, or somebody being charged more for an airplane ticket because the company knows that they just had a death in the family and needs to fly across the country. This isn't imaginary. A JetBlue customer watched a fare jump over $200 in one day while he was trying to book a flight to a funeral. He tweeted JetBlue about what happened and they told him what to do. Try clearing your cache and cookies or booking with an incognito window. They deleted that tweet, by the way. JetBlue's privacy policy says they don't use personalized data, but they told him to clear his cache and open a private window. There has to be more than just this to keep prices fair. And now there's a class action lawsuit against JetBlue. One thing's for certain and two things for sure. All these things online used to make life more convenient, but clearly it was a trap. I remember the days when you called the airline to book tickets or you used a travel agent. It used to take forever, but if you had a good travel agent, they would call you and change your booking if a lower fare came available. That's probably impossible now. I'm really curious how all of this is affecting travel agents. I can imagine that it's making things easier with regards to fare logic, but much harder because the prices are less stable. They probably plead with their clients to grab the good fares when they come because they won't be available in the next hour, probably 5 minutes. Tell me in the comments if you know how this is affecting travel agents or ticketing agents. We manage pretty much everything online now. You're lucky to keep the same fare while you're busy putting your credit card and your booking information. And we're doing it on this internet that we're being told isn't safe to connect our voting machines to, but somehow it's safe enough to do all of our financial transactions through. What are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to get completely off the internet because this whole machine runs on our online behavior? If you use cash at checkout, you uncouple your purchases from your digital identity. This makes it difficult for retailers to track your preferences and your habits. When it's practical, head to the ATM before a grocery run. That said, most surveillance pricing happens online. The easiest way to get around surveillance pricing is to put your phone down and shop in store. Even better, shop at retailers like Trader Joe's or Aldi that don't require a membership to access sales. Without apps, loyalty programs, or membership requirements, they can't track your purchase history. If you're going to keep using apps for frequent purchases, buying groceries on a different day or different time can shift the price. Keep the grocery delivery app on its toes. Vary when you shop. These companies lured us in, and many of us think that this is just the way things are because there's no way that we can go to the bank and pull out cash and track our accounts in our checkbook registers or buy our flights through a travel agent. It's not possible for us to shop in person at stores that do not use surveillance pricing. These companies fear you not giving them your money. Their goal is to make you pay a little more than you should and feel good about it. If you clear your cache and use Incognito, they still make that money. Okay, I just realized that a lot of people have no idea what a check is, much less a checkbook register. A checkbook register is where you track your financial transactions. It's where you know when money comes in and money goes out. You may think, well, all of that information is in my banking app. Yes, it is, right along with all your data. And we have to rethink what really needs to be digital in our lives, what our online relationship should be. I think we've lost the art of actually balancing a checkbook, and that's really a shame. It's a great way to keep control of your accounts and identify if your bank is cheating you in any way. It actually reminds me of that scene in Superman 3 when Richard Pryor's character, he asks where the half cents that don't go into people's paychecks go.
Probably more like $143.80 and 1/2 cents. There are always fractions left over in big corporations, but they round it down to the lowest whole number. Then what happens to them? Well, they're just floating around out there.
So he wrote a code so that he'd get the half cents, which made him rich. Growing up Gen X, I really saw the transition from offline to online. I remember waiting in the drive-through to deposit my mom's paychecks. I remember when direct deposits became standardized. I remember ordering from mail order catalogs and waiting patiently for the check to clear. And that's when I knew to get excited because my order would arrive soon. When we choose to stop offloading tasks to Wi-Fi connections, we gain the ability for less of our data to be farmed, but we also get some of our attention back. I'm Kina. I talk about hard things with a soft voice. I've actually pulled back from YouTube these last couple months because I realized how much noise there is out there. And I want to make sure that I'm offering solutions as opposed to just being a part of the problem. I want to thank each and every one of you who support me with a coffee, with a super chat, with a like, with a subscribe. I spend a lot of time looking at what's happening in this world we're in and exploring solutions to share with you. Your support helps me to do that. And I hope that this video offered you a perspective that you may not have considered, as well as changes that you can make that are actually attainable. These are changes that are really important to me. I've spent the last 5 years really adjusting the way I live my life so that I can take back control. Personally, I stopped online banking as I used to do. I started logging my transactions manually again. I use cash over my debit card when I can, and I pulled my life out of the cloud. I bought a NAS. It's a smart hard drive that actually plugs into my router so that my devices can share files without using the cloud. It acts as this central place where I can store and access and share and back up all my files. And it serves all the computers in my house, our tablets, our TV, and it's all at the same time. And I only need it to work with the internet when I'm trying to access it remotely outside of my home. And those are 4 big changes that I've made just to lessen the opportunity of getting personal prices. I've realized that the less we interact with the internet, the less control they have for personalized pricing. And if you guys have some other ideas, I'd love for you to share them with me in the comments. What are some things that you've done? Also, if you're curious about getting a NAS, I've linked the Ugreen NAS in the description. You can get up to 15% off with my link. There's a lot of variety on their site, so I recommend going to new to NAS, start here, that section, and then you'll go to help me choose and take that quiz. And not everybody needs this whole ton of storage, and that quiz is going to help you figure out how much you actually need. I hope that this video was helpful to you, and I will see you in the next one. YouTube wants you to watch this video next. In this video here, I cover the most asked questions I get about moving to Spain from the US. Bye.